Hi, Hansraj. Good afternoon. How are we doing today? I started my campus club 1 year ago from Hansraj, so it feels absolutely surreal to be back here again, sharing a bit of my journey of what got me here. So, who am I? I'm a mentor, an entrepreneur, a hustler, and an empath. But how did I get here? I'm going to take you to three places today. We are going to do a bit of traveling today. First with Calcutta, then moving to Dubai and back to India again. Right? So I come from a middle class family, or at least it started that way. My dad lost his father when he was 4 years old. Obviously, he couldn't go to school. He took up he took up odd jobs, started with odd jobs, and anything that he came across from 11 years old. And he's still relentless, still hustling away to glory. And I have a fight with him every single time of who works more, he or me. So, talking about my mom, I have been lucky enough to not have just one mom, but another in the form of my mother. And both have been frontliners during the pandemic. My mom is a leader in healthcare, my Masi is a cop. This is where I come from. This was my inspiration, this is where I started. It was not enough because I came from an extremely protective family, brought up with a lot of care, lot of empathy, but also a lot of restrictions. So, how does a person with a lot of restrictions break all shackles and make it big in the world? Let's see how. So, since there were no parties, there were no friends, there were no boys coming home who were friends only, my dad had all sorts of restrictions on me growing up, like most other, girls, young girls coming from developing nations or socialist nations. But I had to find a way. There's an innate, I just knew one thing. I never wanted to be mediocre, right? I did not want to be a mass product. I wanted to stand out in the crowd. I wanted to create impact in one way or the other and do it with a bit of heart, with a bit of empathy, because that's where I came from. I watch a lot of American movies during my time at home because the home arrest essentially. So I used to watch anything and everything that I would stumble upon. And something which really stood out for me was how the teenagers work tirelessly without the shame of what they are doing, be it pizza deliveries, be it handing out pamphlets, being waitering at restaurants. I think this really stood out for me because, let's face it, I had no pocket money either. My parents always told me that if I had to do something, that if I needed anything, they would purchase it for me, right? It's quite the trend here. Still guessing. But something that I learned from the American movies, or essentially a way of showing us of what we could have had. Um, I have a very bad habit. I had a very bad habit of taking things for face value, right? I knew it if when I saw it that if they can, I can too. I had no way to network. My circle was very limited. It was only school, home, and that too monitored. What do I do in this situation? I got myself the first gig with event management somehow or the other. When my dad was dropping me off to a birthday party, finally, I actually went out outside a mall and distributing pamphlets, right? That was my first gig. And I was 17 years old then. I'm talking about a time when doing part times or while you are studying was just a concept, not just for Indian girls, but also for Indian boys, right? I'm talking about literally 16, 17 years ago. But from there on, if you have to thrive in event management, I knew you had to network, right? You had to network. And what was networking? Nobody told me what networking was. Nobody, because nobody knew what networking was. I just knew that in order to get the next gig, I had to find the right time, place, and people who could help me. So I networked, and I networked, and I networked until I reached the Indian Premier League, IPL, and worked with them for 3 years while I was still a student. And a bit of a fun fact here. So I have been a crazy Shah Rukh Khan fan since I was a kid, right? So my goal and sole goal to get into IPL was to, in a way, have a conversation with him, right? Long story short, I'm sure many of you do watch IPL and you see Shah Rukh Khan waving. So, and then my final year of college, when I was already placed with one of the larger tech giants in the country as an engineer, I got the chance. Um, Moving forward to engineering, I always knew that I think doing a lot of part-time gigs and teaching and here and there, I knew that I was very keen in people and culture. I knew that I'm an engineer, but that was just an ego boost for me. I was completing it. I knew that I could never compete with the top 1% engineers because that's not my strong suit. That's not who I want to become 10 years later. Just for that ego boost, move from a mass recruiting company to a premium brand, and I was done. I never wanted to be a back-end person. I knew I could create impact. I knew I had to choose another career path. So, a few friends of mine, already based in Dubai, I networked with them, took a leap of faith, dropped JP Morgan, and moved to Dubai with a visit visa of 28 days. Because that's all I could afford after 2 years of work. I could not get a 3-month visa, which was essentially the trend of people moving to Dubai and finding a job. In that 28 days, on the 26th day, I got a call from one of the leading consultants, Oricon Engineering, that has also built Burj Khalifa and the Tall Tower. That was my first job, with a significant higher compensation that any Indian kid that had 2 years of work ex would have, not only here but also in Dubai. That's how I started. Then I understood that talent is what I wanted to grow in. I loved the impact quotient, and I was not just dealing with Indians. Slowly and steadily, I dealt with 73 nationalities, had the privilege of working with leaders from all over the world, multiple industries, and one thing just stood out for me across. Everybody cared about absolute growth. Nobody cared I was young. Nobody cared where I came from. All knew that I was a visionary, that I wanted to create impact, and they were there to support me and being the wind beneath my wings. That's all they cared about. I left Dubai in 2021, towards the beginning of 21, because towards the end, I think I was getting a bit saturated in the sense I had already done that everything I wanted to do in the region. I had done the MBA, but the MBA also could not get me higher paid jobs. I was placing students in my class while I was at MBA. I wanted to create a greater impact. It just reminded me, why did I get started? It reminded me that my journey was not easy at all. My journey was full of challenges, full of obstacles, but I somehow had the courage to fight through it all. But Indians and other developing nations, Indian girls especially, does everybody have this kind of courage? You know, they need to start, everybody needs to start somewhere. Everybody needs a bit of mentorship, a little support, a little help to help you through and help you punch above your weight. I have had the privilege of having amazing mentors all my life, right? Be it someone that I begged to mentor me when somebody came for a guest speaker session when I was in college, or be it somebody I faintly had met somewhere who happens to be a global leader, and they are the reason why I am the way I am. So I wanted to devote the rest of my time to creating impact, to mentoring students, to mentoring students to punch above their weight, to help them understand what is their strong suit, to help them understand what are they passionate about. Because when you connect passion with profession, you will be unbeatable. And it's very important for you to understand what makes you unbeatable, what makes you visible in an overpopulated competent pool, which India is to begin with. And such is the condition everywhere, anywhere we go, especially the developing nations. We are too many in numbers. It's very easy to become someone that would get lost in the crowd. How do you become indispensable? I was speaking with a student of mine because I'm super passionate about consulting, right? Um, global admissions consulting. I was just talking to a student of mine, and he mentioned he's from Google. He started off from JPMC, 7-8 years of WorkX, and he was telling me that, Ranjika, I think I get paid too much for what I do. There is no decision making per se. And then I was speaking with another person from Google, and he said that, so he was laid off, right? Thanks to AI, lots of changes in society, but also lots of employment. How do you deal with this? You become indispensable. Take that time to find what you're passionate about. Take that time to find what you will eventually like and want to continue for the rest of time. If you're going to work or thinking of getting to work and you can't wait to get back home, my dear, it's time for you to do a bit of deep diving and thinking, are you in the right job? Because I work all day, every day, and I do not have any weekends. And trust me, I don't miss them at all because I'm super passionate about what I do. So what's your passion, right? It's very important to connecting your passion with profession. Second, I would like to end it with definitely that it's very easy to get lost in a rat race. It's also very easy to not be empathetic in this rat race, right? It doesn't always have to be this way. You do not have to kill the other person around just to move forward. Because the greatest leaders of the world are always empathetic leaders. And this is something people forget. So this is something that you must remember, and do not forget to connect the dots. What is connecting the dots? So anything and everything that led me up to this point, be it my global talent experience of working with multiple nationalities in multiple industries altogether, or being an engineer or being an entrepreneur, I find a way to connect everything. I have connected anything and everything from the past, and I'm a product of everything from the past. And I want to serve the youth. Anything and everything, be it the apps I'm building, or my beloved campus club, it is by the youth and for the youth. Because if I want to create change, it has to be from the grassroots, right? I want to change the mindset. I want you to have global standards and not local standards. When you do get that placement, you're extremely happy that you have the highest placement possibly in DU. Take a look at globally. Where are you at? I think, coming from your network, coming from this community, it's still better. You would be really appalled when you see the stats of other institutes and regions of the country. This is the best that the country has to offer. I recently went back to my college last month, and I like interacting with students. So it really upset me to see the level of ambition, right? The level of ambition that the kids have. And anything and everything I asked, like, so what are you aiming for? And they just said that I need a good job. How do you define a good job? Because success is very relative. Somebody with a 5 LPA will also be happy. Somebody that is a Fortune 500 CEO will also be happy and creating humongous impact. So what are you after? Right? So being lost in the rat race is very easy, or difficult rather. Standing out, taking the right steps at the right time is also difficult. So choose your hard. have global standards, assess where you're at, rather than mindlessly just, stalking folks on LinkedIn of people or faces that you are aware of. Do a SWOT analysis on yourself. First, understand who are you, what do you stand for, right? Then take a look at the leader at the tip of the pinnacle, right? Right at the top. No matter how many years you take to reach there, that should be your goal. Be it entrepreneurship, be it job, be it any industry, you definitely are looking at the best in the world. Condemn mediocrity and definitely strive for excellence. That's it from mine. Thank you so much.